So this is day 19 of the videos that I'm doing to raise awareness and understanding of PTSD. Today and tomorrow I'm going to talk just a little bit about living with PTSD before in the last set of videos I talk more about getting treatment and things like that. So today I'm going to talk about the window of tolerance, and the best way to describe it is with a picture. So I've got a picture. So that's a window of tolerance, and I will actually put that in the photos next to the video. And basically the window of tolerance is this bit here, and it's when we're operating where we feel like we can cope with what's going on with the world, where the thinking part of our brain is engaged and active and hasn't felt overwhelmed because the threat system has really started to fire up. And what's really important with this is that our windows of tolerance can be very different. So some people can have a massive window of tolerance where you can throw loads of stuff at them and actually they're able to keep functioning fairly well. Other people can have a really small window of tolerance where it doesn't take much to really destabilise them, and that can be a response of having been in a traumatic experience, especially people who've had complex trauma or complex PTSD where they've experienced lots of different incidents. Actually their system is really sensitive to threat, so for them their window of tolerance can be really small, and that's really important to understand in terms of when people are in their window of tolerance, that, like I said, they're operating fine. If they go out in terms of being over aroused, that's where the fight or flight has kicked in, and so that's where there's lots of adrenaline, lots of getting ready either to run away or to fight, and so that can actually manifest in sort of panic attacks and also aggression if we think about the fight side, and explosive anger. And then the other thing that can happen is people actually go from being very over aroused, they can also become very under or hyper aroused, where actually their whole system shuts down, and that's that freeze and submit effect I talked about earlier, whereby people are actually really quite numb or spaced out, and in some cases can actually be really not very present in their bodies at all, not responsive to conversations or necessarily particularly responsive to pain even, because they've learnt to tolerate very difficult situations by their brain going somewhere else as a protective survival mechanism, and then the brain hasn't updated with new information that says actually this little bit of pain isn't going to lead to all these awful things that have happened in the past, and so it automatically kicks in with that safety mechanism. I'm not going to talk about what to do with panic attacks or dissociation here today because there's not the time to do it justice. Suffice to say, there are lots and lots of resources on the internet, and if you're with someone who you know experiences this, ask them. They will probably have a really good idea of what helps and what doesn't help. Just say, what do I do if this happens? What can I do that's useful, so that you know ahead of time. So that's just a little bit about the window of tolerance, and I think the key thing here is how variable it can be for people, where what for one person actually they just shrug off, someone else it can be completely destabilizing, and that reduced window of tolerance is a real hallmark of PTSD and of trauma. So that's me for today, and I'll see you tomorrow.